being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave on the Township website and has been posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad.
Here.
Councilmember Perry.
Here.
Councilmember Simonson.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Beck.
Here. Move right down to consent agenda. Does council have any questions or comments on the consent agenda?
I'd like to move Resolution 2016-248 to the regular agenda, please.
Okay, is there any other council comments or questions? Open it up for public comment on the consent agenda only. Yes, sir.
John Stronsky, 607 Arctic Avenue. Number 254, about the approval of a professional contract for Mont McDonald for $5,000. It says it's for new projects. What that might be?
Jim?
I'll address that. There are three in particular projects that are ongoing that are going to require more work from them. One is the bike path and what is going on near Sally Marshall Crossing, which is the southernmost part. There's a permit involved with that we haven't received yet because there's a water issue there. It involves some survey work, and we don't have approval for that stretch. And up at the other end, where we meet Middle Township, there's some issues right there that still have to be ironed out. With regards to the beach access, hopefully, we're going to be getting started on that. We're going to be starting to order the materials, but two of the areas of the project, which we feel are probably the most, I'd say the biggest changes. One would be New York Avenue in the Villas because it's going to require so much more fill because it's probably one of the most dangerous accesses we have because of the slope. And we'd like Mott to work with our public works to make sure that's proper. And on Rose Hill Parkway, the conditions we received when we obtained our permit, that is the one access that's being moved. The existing access is being closed, and it's being moved, I'm going to say approximately 100 to 150 feet south, where we're going to be cutting into a dune. And we'd like the engineers to be involved with that. So those are two which are significant that basically have just come up because when we got the permit, that was one of the conditions. We weren't going to move that initially, but we thought that was better. And I said three. There's potential work that will be done with, we did a land swap approximately 2 months ago with the state, with the wetlands behind Public Works. We swapped land behind our Freeman Douglas Park that we plan on developing soon for multiple soccer fields. And that's going to have to be laid out to start that. And other than that, it looks like we're potentially 14 to 21 days away from the completion of the tennis courts. They couldn't be striped yet because the The finish had to set for approximately 17 days. And of course, the high school wants to use the tennis courts, but we did not want to rush that. And we're making sure that that has its proper time before we do it. I think that's it.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Ridgway.
Is there anybody else who wish to address council on the consent agenda? Close the public portion.
Approval of the New Jersey State Firemen's Association membership application for B. McCluskey to the Villas Volunteer Fire Company. Approval of minutes, August 15th, 2016. Resolutions number 2016-240 through 247, and resolutions 2016-249 through 257.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Resolution number 2016-248. This is a resolution authorizing increases for non-union employees as per the supervisor's union contract.
Yes, the reason I've asked to consider this separately is that in looking at the language of the agreement that we passed last time regarding the supervisor's compensation, it was clearly the intent of council that any adjustment would be recommended and approved by council. We clearly stated that as our intention. And then when I went back and read what it actually says in Article number 6 under wages, and I'm just going to read this out loud. It says, add new paragraph. At the manager's sole discretion, unit members may be recommended for a market adjustment or merit-based increase of no more than 6% of their base salary once during the term of the contract. No more than 3 unit members shall receive such an increase in any calendar year. Then it says, last sentence, any such market adjustment must be approved by the vote of council before being implemented. So if I read that literally, it's just requiring that the market adjustment and perhaps not the merit-based increase would have to be approved by council. And I don't think that was our intent as it was stated, and I'd appreciate any consideration from the solicitor on how we should look at that.
Could I see a copy of that? I
Yes,
don't
sir.
have that in front of me. Just so I can lay eyes on it.
It's not something that, I at least didn't see it when we voted on it, but
You're saying you'd like to also add or merit?
Well, without it being there, and it's already been signed. Okay, so contract law is what's on the contract, it's not what you say. So reality is, the first paragraph or the first phrase says merit-based or market adjustment.
Correct.
The last phrase in the last sentence says that council only need approve, basically the way it's written, a market adjustment. Therefore, the way that phrase or that paragraph is written, it would be at the sole discretion period of the manager to generate a merit-based raise. Now, that's how it's written, and that's how it would be defended in court.
As I read it, the "or" in that provision right there, the initial provision that's being called into question right now, calls for a market adjustment or a merit-based increase. So there's two different
Two
scenarios.
separate,
Could result in
and one of the items requires council approval.
Correct.
But without the second one being expressly listed as requiring council
It
approval.
wouldn't require
It would not require. Therefore, it would be at the sole discretion of the manager. I have two observations on that. One is that we went through the entire process last time under a false impression, because the impression we had was that regardless of the circumstances, council would have to approve any raises under that paragraph. But when you read that, and again, I reiterate, unless somebody proves me wrong, what's written is what the contract is. Therefore, there's a glaring discrepancy in the fact that a merit-based raise does not require council approval.
I think if the word market was struck, then it would say that any adjustment would have to be approved by council, but unfortunately, the word market is in there, and it seems to refer back
Or merit should have been added when that.
One or the other.
either,
Here, I mean, this wasn't something that.
But that contract's,
Prepared, but-
that horse is out of the barn. I mean, you would have to reopen the whole bargaining issue in order to adjust that.
Yeah, as this is written, I mean, contracts are interpreted by the four corners of that contract.
Absolutely.
There's no extraneous information
Absolutely.
that's
We're not
taken
going to
into
sit back and say,
consideration.
well, this is what we meant, because the courts aren't going to go with that.
They'll read this as it's stated,
As
and
it
as it's
states.
stated, it just speaks to the market adjustment and not the merit.
Which is the second issue. The first issue I said is that we went through the whole procedure last time under the impression that that wasn't so, that any such raise, whether it be a merit-based or a market adjustment, would require council approval.
I agree with that.
Okay. And I think that that's something that needs to be looked at in and of itself. But the second issue is I'm not voting for this based upon what we have written in there.
Well, I think it should be there, so.
Well,
My point is,
but
I
then
think
you-
you
but
should,
then you-
should table this until we get a legal opinion.
You can do that, but then again,
No.
this
you
would
can do
address only these three people. It would not address the horse out of the barn.
The actual contract itself.
And they'd have to be, I can't imagine they're going to open up a contract just to give us the opportunity to adjust that specific language.
I mean, Mayor, I can weigh in on this right here. I'd like to see the actual contract rather than providing a full-blown legal opinion at this
I
point in time.
got you on that, and I do see that it has signatures on
I
it.
would too, because I know it's also mentioned in another spot in the contract, and this is one page. So I'd like to see what it says
Fine.
in the entire contract. So my suggestion is you table it till we can look at it with the attorneys.
thank you.
I mean, I have, other issues, don't get me wrong. My decision on this specific issue doesn't necessarily rise and fall on that one item itself. But it is one that goes back to what we had gone through last time. And there's something wrong there with that.
We'll look into that.
Even if it shows somewhere else, then you have contradictory language. As it stands now, it's not contradictory, it's plain. I mean, it does not require council approval. Thank you. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a
I mean,
motion to
that's up
table.
you.
I'll second that motion.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes,
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Resolution number 2016-258. This is a resolution authorizing the payment of vouchers for Lower Township Rescue. It's an expense payment in the amount of $10,000.
Okay. Does council have any comments? Open up for public comment on this resolution. Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad? Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes,
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Go down to administrative reports. And, Tom, any council comments?
First, thank you for all the well wishes, as I missed the meeting last week. Got a few other things. Some of you may have noticed, school's in, please be careful. There's a lot of bus stops out there, and we all have to adjust to this bus stops and the times. So if you're going to work, please leave a little early, be on the lookout. Some of the kids are still excited because they're going to school. They haven't hit that second week yet. Also, on the October 4th, the MUA will be sponsoring the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency to come to the town hall at 5 o'clock. This is a special report for Ward 1, the villas, because that's where water lines are being run. It's up to a $10,000 0% loan. There's a little administrative fee. It will pay for your hookup and your plumber's fees. And if something happens, you could apply for more and get more from them. It's over 10 years. You pay it back once a year, X amount. Wonderful program. They will be here at 5 o'clock on October 4th. Also, September 11th is coming up. There's quite a few events. I see Pastor Shang here. I was going to announce it anyway. I don't know if you're going to announce it. They're having a dedication after the 9/15 ceremony service for their new flagpole. And which year is it for your anniversary here? 213th anniversary in this township, the Tabernacle School Church, right on Tabernacle and Seashore. It's a very beautiful building. They're dedicating. Please come out, and the mayor will announce the September 11th stuff. Other than that, hope you're enjoying the heat in the summer, because even though we're in September, because some of you are going to be really complaining about winter soon.
I have a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to apologize. My email's been down. My township email has been down for quite some time. It is now back up and running. Had a little glitch today, but I got through it, so it's up and running again. So that any emails that have been sent to me in the past, I didn't answer them because the server was down, and I never got them. Mr. Ridgway already mentioned that we had a meeting this week in regards to the beach access plan. The extra items that Mr. Ridgway had mentioned tonight were items that the DEP, they were conditions that they set forth that we had to do. We're going to tackle those first. As the materials ordered, once it comes in, we're hoping within the next couple of weeks we can get started. As time goes on, just want to let everybody know there are certain times of the year that we cannot work, or Public Works cannot work down on the beach or the dunes due to the fact of nesting birds. And I believe that's April 30th to June 30th that we can't do anything down there. So there's a lot of projects right now going on in Lower Township that Public Works is doing. We're going to try to tackle these as best we can and have everything going by the summer coming up in 2017. Rose Hill Parkway is our Roseanne Avenue, is also being still worked on. We're getting close to submitting the permit to DEP to get their approval so we can get that project going. We're getting very close to that, so please hold fast and be patient so we can get this thing up and running. Also, the Bayshore Road issue in the North Cape May area that we had talked about, I sent an email out to the county freeholders and to Mr. Foster in regards to getting an update from them of how the study went and if there's any contractor hired yet or being hired yet to do the study for the other section. I'm hoping to have that information back and be able to give it out to the residents of Lower Township at our next meeting. Other than that, that's it. I have nothing at this time.
Our last council session, we had a beautiful presentation by the Lower Township Elementary School superintendent and the teachers about this early childhood education program. So just in case there's someone tuning in on the television program who has a 3-year-old child coming into getting ready for school, and you feel like you would like a little help as a parent to prepare your 3-year-old for preschool, the elementary school has a beautiful program set up that will have a teacher reach out to you. The teachers are willing to come to your home. They're willing to work with your child on an individualized basis in your home and help put them on a good, solid course for their schooling. And if you would prefer not to meet in the home, that's one of the uses that we've identified for the historic Fishing Creek School, that they'll be available to meet with folks there. So if you have a 3-year-old, this is the time to call the elementary school. Just tell them you're interested in the 3-year-old program, and they would love to be able to work with your child and help prepare them for a really good school year. Thank you.
Okay, not a lot. As Tom said, school's open, watch the kiddies. The September 11th ceremony is this Sunday, September 11th, at Sunset Beach, beginning at 6 p.m. We've been doing that every year since 2001, and it's amazing. It's hard to believe it's 15 years, but like to see a nice crowd down there. And then we have on Saturday, September 24th, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, there's a flood insurance meeting here at Town Hall. I'll repeat that, September 24th, that's a Saturday, 10 to 12 noon, flood insurance meeting here at Town Hall. We'll open up to public comment. If somebody wishes to address council, step forward. John?
John Stronsky, 607 Arctic Avenue. When's the county going to do something about the roads down here? Bay Shore Road, Town Bank Road. What's the latest? Is there any news? Is anything going to get done?
As I just stated, I've been in contact with the county for well over a year now, trying to get some things accomplished here in Lower Township. I do know that one of the projects that they had set forth to do was at Filling Mill in Bay Shore, and they delayed that due to the fact of water mains going in. As far as Bay Shore Road in the North Cape May area, as I stated some time ago, they're getting a company to come in to do a traffic study, which they have to do to make improvements. And what they're doing is they're doing a traffic safety study. So we're not only talking about the roadway, we're talking about possible sidewalks, crosswalks, things of that nature. Town Bank and Bay Shore is a major issue as far as I'm concerned, with no sidewalks around the area where the bank is. All this is in the process of being done. As I stated, I sent an email out today. I'm hoping to have updated information for our next meeting so I can let everybody know exactly where the county is with that. Along with the Bay Shore Road issue, there was a speed limit study done from on Bay Shore Road from Heidi Avenue up to where the Wawa is, like Old Mill Drive, to try to have the speed limit lowered down to 35 miles an hour. I don't know how that study went yet, and that's part of the information I'm trying to get from the county. They assured me that they would have information for me in September to give out to the residents. So I emailed them asking for the information. Haven't heard back yet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else wish to address council? Close the public portion.
Resolution number 2016-259, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. This is to discuss the PBA contract, and council may return after this closed session to take action.
Do I have a motion to go into to adjourn? Go into closed session?
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Open session at 7:32.
Okay.
Resolution number 2016-260, a resolution to ratify a 4-year contract between Lower Township and the Lower Township PBA, Local 59.
Any council comments or questions on this? Okay, any public? Well, no, you don't. Okay. Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Good night, ladies. Hey, to you.